Hello, welcome to the TY3 podcast. Today, Cathal, Jack, David, Niall and Gary give their hilarious discussion of the Rugby World Cup. Caitlin and Macy will be comparing Irish and Australian slang. Alex, Rowan and Calum bring a piece on their poor leadership and conditions in North Korea. Callum and Enda provide a rundown on all this weekend's Premier League action. Lucy, Andrea, Lorna and Amelia give an in-depth analysis of the Camogie All-Ireland finals. Keane, Niall, Owen and John tell the ins and outs of soccer players' wages. And finally, Joe explains all about Brazilian food from a first-person account.
Hello and welcome to this one-off student podcast. My name is Alex and this is written by the talented author Rowan O'Neill. Today I'll be discussing a topic that is very topical at the moment, People's Republic of Korea. To start off, I'd like to clear up that North Korea is neither democratic or a People's Republic. It is in fact a brutal dictatorship. The country is located on the Korean peninsula. The country was founded after World War II and has been led by a ruling family since its conception. The country is infamous for its poor treatment of its people, suppression of all media, and most recently and most concerningly, its recent development of nuclear weapons. Its leader, Kim Jong-un, has repeatedly threatened war with various countries, including the US and China. North Korea is currently considered one of the biggest threats to the modern world. As well as this, they have been repeatedly accused at human rights violations, including forced labour camps, assassinations, and fostering an illegal drug smuggling operation to harm other countries. I believe this is a topic that deserves to be much more publicly known. Thanks for listening to my podcast, and goodbye.
Hi guys, welcome to our one-off transition year podcast. Today we're going to be discussing soccer players' wages. We're discussing Eden Hazard, a professional soccer player who recently transferred from Chelsea to Real Madrid. We will break down his wages and compare them to one of the highest paying jobs in Ireland. So Eden Hazard plays for Real Madrid and he's 28 years old. This man is earning 10 million a year and his 10 million supports his wife and 3 young kids. Hazard plays a 90-minute match every weekend and does an estimated 3 hours of work a day between the pitch, gym and recovery. He does roughly 16 hours a week, earning 188,000 for that week's work. That's 1,120 an hour, €18 a minute and 30 cents a second. So since I've started reading this podcast, he's earned €7.50. A solicitor works 35 hours a week in Ireland, earning 960 a week, making 50,000 a year. That means Eden Hazard can buy a house in Galway every 2 weeks, compared to a solicitor working 4 years for a house. So guys, Hazard earns 20 times the amount of a solicitor per year. Does he deserve it? I don't know, we'll have to discuss that another day. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to our podcast based on the Senior Camogie All-Ireland final. The Camogie All-Ireland took place on the 8th of September in Croke Park, Dublin. Galway was a part of both senior and intermediate finals. Intermediates unfortunately suffered from a dry spell of no scoring until extra time in the second half of the game. Westmeath managed to pull through and snatch the winning title for our Galway team. This brought a dull atmosphere to Croke Park, but it also helped drive on the eager and hunger for action for the senior team. At 4 o'clock, the ball was thrown in for the Senior Camogie All-Ireland, Galway versus Kilkenny. Within seconds of the game, Galway began to dominate the game. The atmosphere was extremely intense throughout the game. With 3 well-executed goals in the first half, it raised everyone's spirits and kept adrenaline high. Galway kept up their high level of camogie throughout the game. Kilkenny threw threats at the team on numerous occasions, but Galway fought on. Full-time whistle and the stadium was filled with maroon and white streaming and celebrating as the O'Duffy Cup heads to Galway. Congratulations, Galway All-Ireland Senior Camogie champions for the first time since 2013.
Well, lads.
Okay, mate.
I'm Caitlin from Ireland.
And I'm Macy from Australia.
And today we are exchanging local slang for the first time. So if you're at somebody's gaff, where are you?
At their school?
No, it means house.
Oh.
Something's banjaxed.
Wait, what?
Banjaxed.
I have no idea.
It means it's broken.
I'm going to boop boop.
I don't know.
It's the middle of nowhere.
If someone's a cultie, what are they?
No idea.
Someone who lives in the countryside.
If you're a bogan.
You're a mad lad.
No, someone who smokes and does drugs.
Oh. If you're off gallivanting.
If you're off drinking.
No, it means you're going somewhere sketchy.
Ranger.
I don't know.
Someone with red hair.
The immersion.
The immersion. I don't know.
It's used to heat water in a house.
Okay. Thumbs.
It's underwear.
A pair of shoes.
Okay. Thanks very much for listening. Bye.
Hello everyone, this is our comedy sketch on the World Cup. The Rugby World Cup is in Japan. We hope Ireland will win. We bet Scotland 19-3. Where the bonus point, Jack Moran hopes to go to one of the games from the 20th of September to the 2nd of November. This is the first time the tournament has been held in Asia and outside the traditional heartland of rugby union. Also, David Head's uncle, Conor Murray, will be playing. David is proud and hopeful. Gary has a big interest in rugby and, in fact, he trains his dog to watch rugby. Niall thinks Mayo will beat New Zealand in the final and will finally bring Sam back across the Shannon. For those of you who don't know Sam is Niall's Jack Russell who went missing in March and was found in Kinnegad last week. Overall, the Rugby World Cup. Overall, we hope Ireland will win the Rugby World Cup, except Niall. We are betting Ireland will win on a scoreline of 2-11 to 4 points against current champions of the Six Nations, Italy. But most of all, we hope there is as little injuries as possible. Rugby is a dangerous sport. Cathal Fahey is currently out of sport with not only a broken hand, but a broken heart after his sister nailed him in a game of rugby.
Hello, I'm Callum Kennedy and I'll be presenting the latest football results and news. Started off well for Man City over Watford, where they got 5 goals in the first 80 minutes, which ended the game in 8-0. Spurs fan might feel as if they were robbed of a goal, as it was disallowed by VAR, saying that Harry Kane was offside and ended up losing 2-1. Liverpool maintained their unbeaten run against Chelsea at the weekend with a scoreline of 2-1 at Stamford Bridge. Man United's 2-0 defeat to West Ham on Saturday was not a good game. It was not a good game for Marcus Rashford, as he had to come off with a groin injury. People are questioning if Ollie is going to stay on the job with horrific start to the season, leaving them on 8 points in 8th place. Thanks for listening.
Oi, hoje eu vim falar aqui sobre comidas brasileiras e hoje nós vamos falar sobre o açaí. Açaí é uma comida bastante popular no Brasil, principalmente no Centro-Oeste, onde é comida com creme, leite condensado, leite em pó, etc. Por causa que é muito quente e temos que comer.
Thanks very much for listening to our TY3 podcast.
TY3